It's time to gather around the campfire and tell some spooky tales. And then constantly crack edgy jokes in between every other sentence. Ghost Stories is a comedy goldmine of cringy, dated, and politically incorrect humor you either really love or really despise. For me, it's a borderline guilty pleasure. Half of that guilt is liking its raunchiness, and the other half is in laughing at those certain jokes. Just to clarify, we're talking about the English localized dub of the show by ADV Films, as the original Japanese was a straightforward typical series of episodes. At its core, the English Ghost Stories is an abridged series officially licensed, and it gloriously embraces its role in being a loose canon series not to be taken seriously and just be simply enjoyed. Funnily, I think this opens discussions for its impact outside of the show and inside the recording booth. Two siblings, Satsuki and Keiichiro, move to their late mother's hometown with their dad where they meet several other kids, a sneaky pervert, a born-again drug-reformed Christian girl, and a Jewish boy, and become sort of friends. While exploring an abandoned building, they find two things: that shit's haunted, and Satsuki's mom's journal about the supernatural. They run into a snarky demon named Amano Jaku who possesses their cat, and from there on, it's these kids having ghostly adventures and exercising the spirits in the crudest ways possible, like some sort of Scooby-Doo mystery gang if they originally ran on late 90s Comedy Central. So I think the primary thing to note about the context of the show is that while it is a 2000 anime, the dub, which is what we're covering, is from 2005. This means there's a handful of jokes and references that are very dated now, but not relevant to 2000 either. But the animation is still very 2000, so that's my excuse. Look, I just wanted to talk about this one, okay? Additionally, there seems to be a story that claims this show wasn't successful in Japan, which is why it turned out the way it did here, but I couldn't find any truth to that. In fact, it was actually really popular. I just assumed that for a 2005 audience, there wouldn't be much interest in the subpar animation or general story of milquetoast kids exercising ghosts, so the people behind the dubbing just did their own thing. And thank God they did, because this is a funny show. It's nothing but a dirty joke-filled filler fest of annoying brats being the weirdest and most perverse oddballs to grace the screen, and it's really great like that. It's well aware of its material and its flanderization of these characters and just goes nuts with it. I can't tell you how often I go back to compilations of this show despite me hearing the jokes hundreds of times already, to a point that I can repeat them line for line, beat for beat. I even find myself quoting these nonsensical lines sometimes because they are just too iconic, especially this line from Satsuki.
Looks like it's you and me, Raggedy Ann. Call me Barbie! Okay, fine. Looks like it's you and me, Barbie. I'm going fucking crazy.
I don't know, that always just stuck with me, and I say it whenever I'm mildly inconvenienced mentally, which is pretty often. I think that's part of the charm of the dub as well. It's cathartic. It's a certain humor that lets its characters go untethered from realism or optimism, and is full-blown cynical and matter-of-fact in even the most extreme situations.
And the well? You still haven't told me what we're gonna do with that.
Whatever. Just fill the hole filler.
Sure, jackass.
Years ago, people went in there, but they didn't come out. Not unlike your sister.
Hey man, let's get off the sisters. Especially since I just got off of yours.
An old Yuki Shirogane would have gotten away with it too, if it wasn't for us meddling kids and our trusty retarded sidekick Keiichiro. I've been waiting 5 volumes for that joke.
There's the damn bell! Somewhere an angel just got their wings.
I was freezing out here. Go figure, some loser waitress's kid who fell in the damn lake 40 years ago is pinning me for the fall. What a bitch.
It's nothing but unhinged punchline after punchline, lighting up only in scenes where no one's talking, which then you're thrusted back into this wild world of this anime and its constant jokes. Some of them aren't even the funniest jokes to be told, but they're delivered in a fast, shocking, and shockingly genuine tone that your brain processes the good ones quicker than the duds, and you'd have to give props to the actors for that. Apparently, many of the lines were improvised, and it was a first-come first-served situation, where whoever came in to record first had dibs on setting the scenes and jokes, and it was up to everyone else to build around that. Frankly, it's very impressive from actors you wouldn't quite expect to have those skills. Hilary Hogg, Chris Patton, Greg Ayers, Monica Rial. Even if some of the jokes fall flat, the backing and quick succession of the comedy by the other players really melded into a solid dynamic. Now, it definitely isn't without its very blatant flaws. For one, it is a 2000 show, and the animation's not exactly the best. It's not bad for the time, but the comedy's definitely more in the writing rather than the visual jokes. Speaking of, it's very mid-2000s writing. While most of the jokes are solid and land perfectly, there are those snippets of referential humor to the current events of the time. Not necessarily degrading per se, but can certainly take you out for a moment. It also very much has a certain type of humor. The South Park humor, the drawn together humor. Occasionally dark, occasionally nonchalant, fully absurd humor of raunchy or bizarre observations. And if that's not your cup of tea, you probably wouldn't be into this show. But the fact that it's an officially licensed anime dub of this caliber makes it a truly unique enigma. There's no other show that comes close to the off-the-wall existence of this one, and that's why it's remained in the anime comedy sphere for so long. It's something to just see for those reasons alone, and the fact you get some incredible improv and hilariously unfiltered joke telling is just the icing on the cake. If you go into it with an open mind, and I mean really open, there are a ton of politically incorrect jokes here, then you might find that it's just that kind of show. One that doesn't care, it only wants to tell jokes, and is dang good at it. Get into the spirit and go see if you can get getting ghost bustin', as well as gut bustin' too.